Hello and welcome to Mostly Minnesota Music. I'm Ann Tracy. I'm here with my co-host,
Heather Baker.
Yeah, we're super excited to have Ted Hajnasiewicz. I practiced. Ryan, I said it perfectly before, didn't I? Hajnasiewicz, yes, Ted. And Ryan Root here. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, hello.
Hey, Ted, we've had you on. I think I remember hearing a story about a family Kiss cover band. Maybe when your sister was.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I should make her watch this. Yeah.
Exactly. People can listen back, but I just and look back and I was like, oh, I do remember that. That was funny.
Yeah.
We're here today to talk about something totally different.
Yes.
Quarantine Dream.
Quarantine Dream.
Yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Ryan, why don't you start? Or do you want me to start? Okay, I'll start because I'm going to talk about Ryan. Yeah. So it all started, well, everybody was quarantined. And Ryan put a post out saying, hey, does anybody want to maybe collaborate or write? And I think I jumped on it and probably a handful of others. And so we wrote a song and we had fun and we thought, we want to do more, or do you want to get other people involved? This is all Ryan's ideas. All I did was say yes. And he's like, what if we put a compilation album together? I'm like, yes. What if we help somebody out? Yes. What if we help out Jessa? Yes. Who's Jessa? I didn't know who Jessa was, but he did. And so this is all Ryan's idea, and I'm just a yes man.
Yeah, nice.
I'll blame it on him.
Thanks, Ryan. You want to tell us a little bit about Jessa? We know.
Yeah, she's kind of the head and the heart behind Gambler's Daughter. The weird thing, I've never actually personally met her before. I do a radio show as well, and I've played her music on the radio, and just kind of through social media and whatnot, I learned of her situation, just as everybody was kind of going into quarantine. And the idea originally kind of came to us just, Ted being a musician, myself being a musician, and knowing a bunch of our friends and colleagues that are working musicians that suddenly have no income. Yeah. And so it originally started as like putting this record together in hopes of raising money to help them out. We didn't really have a specific, person in mind. And then I learned of Jessa's situation literally days after the quarantine thing hit. And so that kind of gave us more of a focus, I guess, on someone more specific. Because from where I sat, I can't imagine going through the quarantine and then having kids and cancer and all that stuff, and really the insurmountable amount of bills that she's faced with, and sitting here and not doing something with our time. It just seemed we should be doing something. So I found a great partner in Ted, and it just kind of took on a life of its own from there once we started getting the word out, and here we are.
So when you were gathering people for the album, did you approach people with the Gambler's Daughter, or was that just you and Ted doing it and then reaching out at the same time? Or how did everybody jump on board, or they just wanted to make music together, I guess?
Ted, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we had a song that we had, and then we kind of put it out there with the idea saying, this is kind of what we're doing, this is what we want to do it for, who's in,
Okay.
It was kind of a social media post. And
okay.
Yeah, there was an element of, being that neither of us know Jessa personally, we thought this would be a great idea to help another local songwriter, but we don't know her, and we want to make sure that's okay with her. So at first, we really presented it as, hey, we'd like to do something cool, who's in? And then once we got an okay from her, we started reaching out to some people that she knows. So originally it was casting a net, and then after a while, we started to kind of like pick on a couple people and say, hey, would you be willing to, the ones we weren't afraid to talk to. So neither Ryan nor I feel that cool. So we're kind of intimidated by most of the Minnesota musicians. But yeah, so then we hit up a few people that know her, and they were really on board, which was kind of exciting to see. And most of the people on here collaborated with somebody over the internet. Some people never met yet, and they've written songs together, which is kind of cool, you know, kind of crazy.
That's so cool. When you were writing, did you have her in mind, or was it just like we're having a song and then during this time or whatever? Did you have some sort of thread weaving through all of it?
Yeah, I don't know if the entire album had that thread weaving through it, but one of the songs Ryan and I wrote that it didn't actually make the actual album. The lyrically, yeah, was definitely with her, and yeah, I wrote it from that perspective. It'll be on. It's like a bonus track. We don't tell anybody. You get a bonus. Shh. But cat's out of the bag. Yeah. So that song did, and then a couple people who knew her, a couple of them actually wrote their songs either with her, for her, or kind of, hey, this song really seems to be a good song for her, you know, which is really sweet. And I think that she knows this as well. I think, yeah. So we've been trying to not bother her much. So a lot of it's been via email and just wait for her to respond whenever she can. And I mean, I just can't, I don't, you know, I think it's difficult to say, how can I help? Because it almost puts the onus on the person who needs help, like,
Yeah.
give them a bunch of stuff instead of, well, let's just do this. And raising money for somebody is not that difficult, really. So even if it's a small amount. So, yeah.
Well, and Jess is lovely. Strangely enough, we had her on the radio show. Well, the radio show was only on for a month this year before COVID hit. So, and it, you know, and she was so positive, and she was so ready to start the next chapter in her life. And then, you know, I think a week later, COVID, and then, you know, in the same week, it seems like she was hit with, and I think, I don't know that we've said out loud that it was stage 4 liver cancer, you know, so it was just.
Right.
But I applaud the idea of reaching out.
Yeah.
Because, I think it does take, you don't want people to have to ask for help, but also you don't want to, it's very Minnesotan to not want to impose.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ryan and I are both very Minnesotan in that way. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is always say a Minnesotan will watch something on fire, have a hose in the back, and say, not out of not knowing to help, but like, I don't want to overstep. Maybe you were roasting marshmallows.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So you've probably worked with a whole bunch of people now that you hadn't worked with before, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ryan, I don't know if you met Tim Cheesebro before.
I hadn't met him before.
All of this.
No. So that was fun.
Yeah. So
I hadn't wrote with Ted before. In fact, I've met Ted in person one time prior to this.
We have both of us have we have a dear friend that like we're both dear friends with. And I knew of Ryan because of his past, because my friend would always tell me about Ryan and Ryan this, Ryan that. And then Facebook, right? And I think we ran, I recognized his face. I was at the ask. I'm like, you're Ryan Road. And he's like, yeah, who are you? You know, maybe you felt famous for a minute. I don't know, Ryan.
Or stalked. I couldn't.
Right.
Fine line.
It did take me 45 minutes, and I followed him from table to table. He was kind of weird, but
yeah, that's not stalkery at all.
No, it's not.
Not disconcerting. Right. I love when guys do that. But you've got Tim has got a song on this, but he did the art as well, didn't he? Yeah.
He did, yeah. He did, and he actually kind of, Tim's pretty visionary. He comes up with a lot of ideas. So when you have a conversation with him, and he's like, well, what about this? What about that? And so we did a lot of once we got this ball kind of somewhat rolling, we chatted with him, which then in turn got us involved. We should get somebody to help do something larger than just our little, hey, can we sell 10 copies of this? And that's when we started working with Ellen, and and then just kind of snowballed from there. And so now we'll probably sell 12 copies, which is
I know.
awesome.
No,
Yeah.
for folks who are listening, I'll give you a chance to tell us a little bit about Ellen.
Yeah, Ellen Stanley. Who doesn't know Ellen Stanley in town?
Well, that's
what
true.
I feel.
People who listen, maybe.
Yeah, Mother Banjo. She's a phenomenal musician. This is the history I know. I know she's done a lot more than what I know, but she ran the Minnesota Music Coalition, or she was the chair for years and years. And then she recently stepped down to start her own publishing or promotions, not publishing, promotion. I get all those terms wrong. Promotion company. And so she's done a lot of stuff. Like she just did the stuff for Turn, I believe. Yep. And she's done AJ Scheiber and I mean, numerous other ones. So we reached out to her because, you know, I thought she'd be a great person, even just if we don't use somebody to help to get some advice. And she was so willing to just spend time. And in fact, I've picked on her couple times for just advice on even career advice. You know, she's wonderful. So I'm super, super thankful for her and how she's helped us pull things together. She pulled in Adam Levy. He's got a song on this.
Mm-hmm. And he's got a song that he plays with Jessa, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. It's phenomenal. Yeah. And you guys have heard all this, right? Yeah. So I think that's one of my favorite. My favorite song on the record is actually Jen Bloom's, but otherwise I think Adam's was like, oh man, I love this. I don't know. Every song that came on, it became my favorite for a moment. Yeah.
It's like a variety pack.
Yeah.
It's good. All different elements. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, except for that Ryan Rude, that frequency collision stuff. It's.
You can pipe in anytime, Ryan. Take a punch.
I self-admittedly am really bad at these kinds of things. And that is a part of who is witty. And
I cannot hear you very well. I don't know if that's everybody or just me. Sorry.
Oh, how about now?
There you
go.
Better.
Maybe.
Yes.
I have a very soft voice, so getting me to speak up is not easy.
Sorry.
I'll try to yell.
We'll take it.
All I said was it's good to have someone like Ted who's as charming and witty as he is, because I just sit here and take it all in and say random things in odd places.
You're a good pair then, huh?
Yeah. He looks cool doing it. Yeah.
Ryan, when you first posted something, what did you hope and what did you think? And how does that compare to what happened?
That's a good question. I don't know that I'm kind of a guy that manages expectations no matter what I do. So I didn't really I hoped for the best, but didn't really know what to expect, because this is something I've never tried to do before. So I had no idea. I had no idea what I was doing. And it to see where it kind of started and the initial conversations that Ted and I had, and to see where it is now, is kind of mind-blowing for me. And not because of it was something that Ted and I started, but just to see a bunch of people come together in really odd and difficult circumstances, and a bunch of people that don't really know each other that just decided this is something I wanted to be a part of, was really in spite of everything that's gone on in the world in the last couple months, it was very reassuring that there's good people out there that will do things just solely because it needs to be done, you know, and not because it's going to benefit them in any way. And I say that about everybody that was involved in this project, from start to finish. It was really, you know, to see just an idea go the way it did and turn out the way, I mean, it was really inspiring for one, and just, you know, I'm just thankful. I'm really thankful because I've met some good people. through it, and you just can't get enough of good people. So really thankful, and I'm just really pleased. And this is, I think it could be just the beginning for a lot of this. Like Ted and I have talked about collaborating some more, and so who knows what it sparked for everybody else that was involved. So hopefully it's one of those things that you light the fuse and see where it goes, so if that makes any sense at all.
It does. I was going to say, did you find it therapeutic too to have somebody to work with or something to motivate you during such a strange time? I'll let you answer, Ryan, since you hate to talk.
No, it was, and I think the whole idea behind just collaborating with somebody was to just have that some sort of contact while we're all just in our own little bubble, and the best way I know how to do that is through music. So it just seemed natural to say, hey, who wants to pass the time here and write some music while we can't do anything else, and then it just, knowing how involved Ted is with the local music scene, it was just kind of a natural fit for us anyways. And I know he likes to give me credit for the idea, but it was very much, at least from my perspective, is very much a partnership here. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to hug you. Yeah.
No.
Remote hug.
Well, it sounds like a very symbiotic relationship. I mean, you have very complementary interests and talents, maybe talents and skills right there.
Yeah, I think well, go ahead, Ryan.
No, I didn't. It's your turn.
Oh, I don't know that, like, we have very similar tastes in music and also different, if that makes sense. There are certain groups or artists that we both love a lot, and then Ryan has a pretty diverse I guess catalog running through his. This is what I want to listen to, where I get locked on one artist, and so stylistically and the way he writes versus the way I write is very different, but it worked really well because both of us are like, cool, and we just like, okay, cool, there wasn't any really push or shove, and that was really fun. For me, I'm pretty passive, so if somebody wants to bowl me over, I'll probably just lay down for them. But with Ryan, it was just fun. It's like we'd toss something back, especially over the internet, where you would throw it back, and then maybe the next day or even that day, you'd get something back with an idea. That was exciting.
It was very, very easy. It's very easy to write with Ted. I think you put it well. There wasn't any like, no, my idea. It was just, it just happened. It was painless.
Right.
So.
Ryan, you gotta talk louder again. I'm sorry, I'm losing you. You're getting too comfortable.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I was just saying it was very painless, effortless process with Ted. So. I always feel like when things are like that, it's kind of meant to be, and it feels good. The process was easy, and the end product I'm very, very proud of. So
yeah,
what more can you say about it? It just seemed like everything with the project, all the artists involved, it just seemed to go that way, with very little, if any, real stumbling blocks. I can't really think of any. Can you, Ted?
No, everything came together well. Pretty quickly, it's just like, in fact, it got to the point where some people co-wrote with multiple people, and it was difficult to figure out what's going to go on and what's not. And
yeah.
So for what we originally thought, maybe let's shoot for 8 songs. If we get 12, that would be fine. And we ended up with 19.
Wow.
And I was like, now what do you do? And so.
Push play and enjoy.
Yep. Yeah.
Did you, is there anything, during quarantine, I don't know, but is there anything for the release date, or Are you doing small groups or some sort of we did it type of thing together, or? No?
That's a good question. Do you have anything in mind, Ryan?
I thought at one point it might be fun to do a show with everybody that was involved. It would be, I'm not sure. And that's about as much thought as I put into it.
Yeah.
But with everything going on, I'm not sure time-wise what that looks like.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Possibly we could look at doing some kind of live stream thing. It would probably happen after it's released. So meaning maybe not even in August, but maybe we could get a few of the people and or somebody else if they wanted to, and just kind of have some kind of fun thing. But those are a lot of work to pull. I mean, you guys have been involved in those as well, right? I know they did one for Jessa, and there's been a few other really big ones that I'm not sure mentally I would even know how to pull that off. We'd need to get some help for sure. Yeah.
It's way out of my
Well, you just say, sorry, Ryan, what?
I said something like that is way out of my wheelhouse. So I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. So I'd have to get Ted to help me on that one as well. And
yeah,
a whole list of other people.
Although you never know. I mean, it's amazing how many people step forward. We even had Greg Ward mastered the lion's share of this album, and all because he reached out. He found out this was happening. He's like, "Hey, you guys gonna be mastering this?" I'm like, "No, and how are we gonna do that? Because that's expensive." And he's like, "I'll do it." I'm like, "Well, how much it cost?" He's like, "I'll do it." He just did it for free.
Nice.
So I'm sure people would step forward. So when we post this, anybody who has ideas, we're all ears. Yeah.
We should do it from Sarah Morris's green bathroom.
Yeah. From her backyard.
She's doing the green backyard. There you go.
Backyard.
Just a big camera, a huge camera that can span, so we're all 6 feet apart, whatever, 10 feet apart.
You could do like a We Are the World song where you guys all sing together in the backyard, and I don't know. In my head, I have something like that. That would be awesome. You're like, thanks a lot. You're adding on to the list. You have a running list here. Contact the people on Facebook.
Well, I'll watch this later, and then I'll take notes on every idea. And something will stick. Yeah.
Oh.
It's tough because it's and I'd love to hear any silver lining about the pandemic, but one of the silver linings about the pandemic is now we can't work in the same room together. So you remove a barrier of distance. Once you remove a barrier of distance, you kind of remove a barrier of time. So people can work together. You say it's beautiful when you send something to someone and they send it back that day or the next day, but getting everybody on a Tuesday is you'd be bringing in another dimension again to that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's hard even to do that if you're in a band setting to pull people, even in social media or texting or all those things. It's very difficult to pull that off. But maybe we get it. Maybe you guys want to do it.
Well, let's see. Maybe we'll take that offline, Ted.
Okay.
But I'm not saying no. We're not saying no, but we're saying let's just take that one. We'll take that one on offline.
Right.
How thinking about, you've got so many different moving pieces, as you say. There's 19 songs and how many different musicians. Was it where people kind of did their work and came back with it? How much overall collaboration was there? How much?
So because I'm a bit of a nerd, I counted how many people actually touched this, and there's been 45. And I think that might include Ellen, because she just helped with pulling it together. But 45 different people have touched it. And I think when you look at some of the songs, some of the ones we pulled off are because Ryan and I ended up collaborating with somebody or playing on this song or that song, and we don't want to have our names all over the thing. But there was a lot of that, like this cross-pollination. Like Nick Henches has a song on here, and Chris Holm played guitar on it, and then Nick played mandolin on Steve Kelzer's song, and Steve Kelzer did something with Adriana Lair, and then Adriana did something with Ryan, and then it's just like this whole kind of interweaving of it's really kind of fun to see that kind of stuff going on. So,
Very
and there's like a lot of songs that are like that. I would probably say over half of them have some interesting kind of weaving of people between the songs.
Nice.
That was neat. Yeah. There's a lot. It didn't seem like so much.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask, how many do you think are new? This spurred people to be in the same, if not physical space, headspace together and built relationships.
Yeah, so Steve Kelzer and Andriana have never met, and they're new to each other. And Steve, I mean, I know Steve is in this because he lives out in Carver County, and he does a lot with the arts out here, but he doesn't know any of the people on this at all. And so that's like, these are new connections for him, and he's loving it, you know. I don't know, Ryan, I mean, you meeting Tim is new. I've never met Chris Holm before this. Boy, I would say that you've got at least a half a dozen people who have never met someone else that they're working with. One song, yeah, there's a song Megan Lacey sings on one. We asked her to sing on it late in the game. And of that, then Pat Egan, who lives down in Rochester, played piano on it. Another guy who lives in Hastings played bass. No, I played bass on that one. A guy who lives in Sartell played drums. Somebody else played guitar. All these people have never met. It's insane, you know. And then Megan came in and sang on it, and she just took the song to a whole new level. And so Pat, who played piano, heard it when it was finalized, and he's like, "Who's that singing? I never heard this." You know, it was kind of fun to, you know, yeah, that was neat. So yeah.
It warms my heart to have the people from all over Minnesota. You know, my day job is very rural Minnesota focused. So just your next version, I'll help you go even further out to So, but then hearing you guys are playing songs with people that you've maybe never been in a room with. Have the two of you been in a room together yet?
Yeah, he stalked them.
One time.
Just the once. Sorry, just the once. But yeah.
And Ryan only found out about 5 minutes before he left. No, yeah, just the one time. I think that's it. And so if we're ever able to do shows again, I would love to do something with Ryan. That would be a lot of fun.
Well, and how different is it tell me about the experience of recording with people that you haven't met, that you're not in the same room with. Do you do any of it in real time at all? How, just the practicalities of it amaze me.
Just with so many resources out there to record and at home and capture ideas, not just capture the ideas, but capture them with a high amount of quality, which was kind of important when we started this. So, I mean, like when Ted's able to do recording at home, I'm able to do recording at home. So it was kind of would you say it was a prerequisite? I can't say that word, prerequisite, Ted, to be able to do that?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
So like in Ted and I's case, what it was is Ted sent me a chord progression that he had been, I think you had it for a while, didn't you? Or was it something?
Yeah, I've got a folder of all these little guitar parts or voice things that I forget about. And then I was like, well, let's just start here. And I sent him like 30 and he liked one, which is pretty tough.
Not true, but the one I did gravitate to was a very beautiful chord progression. And so it was, whenever I write with somebody, it's usually that simple. It's like I connect with it, and I took it, I put some, I don't know, piano and some other things on top of it and sent it back, and he was like, cool. And I was like, yeah, cool. And it just went from there. So I can't speak for everybody on the record, but I'm imagining that's kind of how it went for everybody else too. Is just, it starts with the foundation with an idea, and somebody builds on it, and somebody else adds to it, and it's kind of like a musical potluck, so to speak. So
Right. Yeah.
I was gonna say, how did you get the different people to collaborate? You said somebody was from Sartell, somebody was from Carver, wherever. Like, did they say, you know, I'm gonna need piano in this song or whatever, they presented it and then, or did people have people in mind, or how does that work? I guess.
Yeah. So when we started this, Ryan made a little video kind of talking about our idea, and we created a Facebook group for it, and some of our friends invited, and the next thing you know, people were asking to be part of it, and so then in that we had asked, I think we posted something about, hey, if anybody wants to do something or plays an instrument or has a song, or just say so, and a bunch of people replied, and some of them actually, you know, it worked out that way. And then we had a number of people say, hey, I need a drummer, can you do this? Or hey, you know, and so it was kind of that you know, like want ads type of thing for a while. So that was kind of neat to see that flesh out.
Yeah, just the chatter back and forth and the excitement building, or just the connections. It would be fun to watch, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really
Cool.
exciting.
Very cool to
Yeah.
watch. You know, like Ted said, somebody got a song here. I need a guitar player, or I need a drummer, and it was very much like just putting out a Craigslist ad, except, you know, and then you got some, hey, I can do that, and I can do that, and it just once it got rolling, it just kind of took on a life of its own, really. So at least that's my perspective. You know, it just seems like everybody, you know, sometimes when you collaborate with people, you know, you got to feel like you got to put the pressure on them to get it done or whatever, you know, and we had a deadline in mind, but we also didn't want to pressure anybody to do it. And I never felt like we had to do that, which was refreshing, because, you know, musicians can be a strange lot and a fickle lot. And a lot of these people are involved with a million other projects. And so taking that into consideration, it was very, I don't know, it was just very kind gesture for a lot of these people, to knowing that they didn't have to be here and do this, and they didn't have to put the time and energy into it. But they wanted to. And, you know, I don't know of another situation where an album came together like this in just a couple months, you know?
Right.
So we're very fortunate.
You throw in things like distance learning and people having to care for their kids at home all day long and trying to find time to do this where they could have done something else or nothing. And during the middle of quarantine, a lot of doing nothing was probably a common practice too, just, you know, and people are willing to give of their time. That's really, really kind of fascinating.
I think kind of building on Heather's question earlier, but, you know, was this therapy for you? I think you guys offered therapy to a lot of other people, because I've spent some of the quarantine doing nothing, and I've spent some of the quarantine doing something. And let me tell you, you know, you think you want to go this way. Now I wish my kid were standing behind me. You think you want to do nothing.
Right.
But it feels good to do something. You know, I mean, it feels good to do something for someone else when you can, even though, you know, it's a tough time for people for many reasons, you know, and it's so it's a gift that it's a stone soup. It's a gift that gives and gives and gives. And, you know, you've got a Facebook group full of different players. Somebody brings the potatoes and carrots and you know, but you guys started with an awesome stone. And I have to think that you guys have, I imagine a lot of people put in a lot of work, but for the duration, you guys have done the yeoman's job here. Maybe.
I think there was probably, we didn't know what we were doing. There's a big part of that. So a lot of it, sometimes if you think about it after the fact, it's like, yeah, holy smoke, you know, we did a lot there, but it was when things were starting, it was super exciting. And as we started to get closer to like, we're going to do this, and that was exciting. So it was just, doing what you need to, but if you think about it, yeah, you're making me tired.
But then you got, oh,
no, go ahead, Heather.
I was going to say, then you got more skills and knowledge for the future for your own endeavors and whatever. And now you have a quarantine family, I'm going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would do this again. I think I would like to figure out, it needs to kind of make sense like this, I think. I don't know if people really care about something like this generally, but I think it's I don't know. I love like all this different musical things, and it's a great way to get introduced to some very talented songwriters. Some of them people know, some of them people probably have never heard of, and so that's really neat. And I think it would be really cool to do this more often, but probably need something compelling to kind of get a little fire in your belly for it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun to kind of pretend to be a producer. I don't know about you, Ryan, if it, you know, like, hey, we're pulling this project together. That was kind of neat. And I was furloughed, so it gave me something to do with my day. Yeah.
No, it was like Ted said, man. I had no clue what I was doing. I just thought it would be cool to try, and had no idea what to do next. And you know, I can't thank really Ted for sure, and you know, and Tim and Ellen. You know, it's just really amazing how it came together. And you know, with everything going on in the world, I don't think you always have time to sit down and process something like this through and really look at it, the ins and outs and how it came together. And you're just kind of in it, you know, and you don't really have a moment to stop and think about it. But now that it's kind of, you know, it's been out there and it's kind of getting ready to do its thing, it's I don't know where I'm going with this, but it was just really kind of an amazing thing how it came together. And I may have had the initial idea, but there was 45 other people that made this thing happen.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I can't, you know, and I'm sure Ted feels the same way. We can't take full credit for this when so many people came together to make this happen.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if that was an answer to a question, but this is why I don't talk.
No, it was good.
It's perfect. Are there, assuming someday that either we get used to this new normal or old normal we get closer to old normal, some of the ways that you've been able to work together, are there things that you know that you'll take that will change how you work forever?
I think so, yeah. And I think, well, didn't think about that until you asked me that question, but I think a lot of those things are subtle. And just personally for me, I think it's really, like the music I've done just on my own the last handful of years, it's been just myself. So for me, it's really sparked that need to work with other people again. And really, you know, that pull creative juices together and really kind of explore other avenues in that for myself again. So yeah, I guess, yes, it has changed. And, you know, I would definitely want to do this again. You know, I mentioned love to write with Ted some more, and not necessarily on a record like this, but just because I had fun doing it and I liked the results. So, and that's what music is for, you know. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was an unexpected but really cool answer, I guess, from my end. Okay. How about you, Ted?
Nope, not a thing. No.
Fair.
I think, I mean, it's very similar. I mean, up until relatively recently, I'd been doing a lot of writing and recording at home. And just prior to COVID, I was starting to try to pull a band together because I want to play with other people. This has gotten me more like where I want to actually write with people instead of writing myself. And it's fun to do that. And we've kind of talked, Ryan and I and a few other people have talked about this thing of trying to do a collective where we just throw a bunch of stuff into it. It's similar, but more like concentrated on a small number of people to write. And we'll see if it happens. You know, everybody's busy, so we don't impressed on that, but that would be really fun. And you guys, I think, have talked about that songwriter group I am part of on Facebook. And so we were doing that in the summer. And this summer, I've been trying to do it where every week I write with someone, and whatever comes out, or if it doesn't, oh well, you know. But it's kind of been fun, a fun exercise. And yeah, I think Ryan and I would love to do a lot more stuff. He can teach me a lot. He, you know, his style of layering things is fun. I like any musician could teach another. I believe that any musician can teach another person something that they just, I never thought of it that way. And it's really cool to see how that works out.
That's really the beautiful thing about collaboration is, you know, whether it's, you know, I'll just use Ted and I as an example. Whether it's Ted bringing an idea or myself bringing an idea, it's just that outside angle, like you said, Ted, that like, wow, I wouldn't have thought of it that way, but that's very cool. And just kind of, it allows you to step outside yourself musically and I don't know, there's always that element when you collaborate with somebody, and it's a positive thing, that just the different angles that you don't think of, especially when you're coming from a place where you work by yourself so much, and it's just refreshing. I think a good way for me to put it. It's just refreshing. Yeah.
I have a colleague I work with has a phrase that's if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with someone else.
Right.
Or get the community. You know, it's very much that sense. I mean, I think and this has been an odd time where we've all had time to think and do things differently. And you guys have made the most of it. You know,
yeah. Made more of it anyway. I don't know. We quite made the most, but we definitely made more of it. Yeah.
I think I'm proud of what we did. Say that. Proud of that, and I feel fortunate out of everything that's come out of it. The partnerships that were created, the music that came out of it, the hopefully a little bit of relief that we're able to provide. It's all been a very, very positive thing, and I just feel grateful, I guess, that people were put together to make this happen, seemingly out of the blue, I guess. You know, when something needed to happen, it just happened. When somebody needed something, it was there. And it's amazing when those things happen. You know, I call them happy little accidents, you know, and it was just a series of those things. It just, whatever was needed was there. And it was amazing to watch. So.
I have a lighter question. When you were talking earlier and you said you guys connect and really like some certain music, and then I think Ted dissed you and said there's some that he doesn't know or like that you listen to. Please give the details of who this is.
No, I think what I meant by that is Ryan's got what's up?
No.
It's not that I don't like it. It's actually like, wow, you listen to a lot of things. I'm kind of like the dumb pop music consumer, if you will. And Ryan has got the deep library of music that I wish I was as cool as him. That's really that is what I meant.
No,
I
totally understand that. I was giving you a hard time, but I am curious of the connecting, and then something that caught your attention, Ted, that that he gifted you, I guess, of new music?
Yeah, so I think he reawakened a lot of music that I probably listened to 25 years ago. Because, you know, Ryan was doing his radio show, and so I would listen to this thing, and he would play a lot of stuff. Even, you put me on the spot to think of a band or an artist, and I'm struggling with that now. But I'll just say even Jane's Addiction. That's not one, that's probably the most simple one, but that would be like, oh man, I haven't listened to that group in forever. And he would just pull stuff out that is just things I just don't think of anymore. My musical scope can get really narrow sometimes. I'll listen to Willie Nelson every single day, all day long, and be content. And yeah, I think Ryan goes a little deeper, or maybe broad is a better word. He goes more broad. Is that accurate, Ryan?
I have no idea.
I will tell you this: we both cry at the end of Rocky, so we have that in common.
Greatest love story ever told. What can you
And
say?
if you don't cry at the end of Rocky, you have no heart. You have no heart. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you have to write a Rocky song together is what I'm hearing. Some anthem.
We'll get Sylvester Stallone to make another Rocky, and
oh no,
you know,
please no.
he can fight when he's 80, and we will write very slow music for that.
I am totally going to write a Rocky song.
Oh yeah.
I love them. What can I say? So
Well, there you go. Challenge accepted. I think that's what Ted's got to say right there.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ted's the lyricist, so he's got to.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to write a dumb lyric either, so be prepared. They're gonna be so bad they're good. Yeah.
They're memorable.
Yep.
We'll do a little lyrical back and forth. You write a line, send it to me. I'll add on.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's the next collaboration.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Rocky themed.
I think that would be some interesting lyrics. I think that would, you know, I like your stuff. I have to preface this by saying I also have a great love of noise, and that, you know, that whole genre, and I love the I love the ambience of your music. You know, you could just sit and listen to it, and Ted, I love your music more because it is more country, and I listen to a lot of country. So I think the difference between the two will be, we'll have you back on as soon as you write that.
Right. We'll come up with a clever name.
Well, now I'm like,
Has nothing.
what rhymes with Rocky? There's my lyrics, my ability of lyrics right there. Saki,
Right.
Pocky. I'm going to ask you guys just to tell folks who are listening, how can they find Quarantine Dream? It's still pre-order, but how, you know, where can they go for more information?
Yeah, so a couple of URLs, like if people know what Bitly is, bit.ly / Quarantine Dream. That will get you there. Otherwise, quarantinedreammn.bandcamp.com, because somebody took it before we did. That makes me mad. I'm so mad. And, yeah. So, but Bitly / Quarantine Dream will bring you to the album. I think that's probably the best way to get there.
And it's coming out on August 7th.
Yep. And we have a pre-order going now. And so each week we're kind of releasing another teaser song or a single. So Vicki Emerson's song Trouble is available, and Waltzing on Waves song Simple is available now. And we'll have another one on Monday, and on and on. Yeah. So, yeah.
I feel like I should know this, but which one is this coming Monday?
Nick Hench's, I can't, his name's so hard to pronounce. I need a simple name. You know, I can't do those hard names.
I was just going to say, coming from you, my friend.
Hey, if it's only 1 or 2 syllables, you lost me. Like, that's not a name. Yeah, his will be on Monday. Yeah, his is a lot. It's called Handsome Devil. It's a lot of fun. And his wife sings on it, and yeah, Chris Holm plays guitar on it. So
Nice.
it's definitely a good stomping song. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And these are all songs that have been written in the last couple months.
Yeah, I think I don't know that anything on here is older. I think everything's probably 2020 at least. Yeah, but if I'm wrong, that was Ryan's fault. So
I get that. I saw that coming. I saw that coming.
Mhm.
Now, I know, Ted, you also have had an album come out last month.
Yeah, I think I put it out in June. It was it's record release shows are stressful, and it was part of me was bummed that it didn't happen, and then part of me was relieved.
But yeah,
Like I didn't have all that stress. It was nice to put a record out and then not have to worry about all that. Actually, I might do that all the time now. In fact, I am putting something out in August. Just gonna drop an EP and not tell anybody. And yeah,
Everybody.
I didn't say it here. Yeah. I think I might put out more music as long as I can not put out really crappy stuff. Then I might put out more music more often. Yeah, we'll see.
that's a good plan. That's a good plan for today, for what's happening with
for
us
now.
today. Yeah, yeah. And Ryan, what's your plan for?
Well, prior to the quarantine and subsequently this project Ted and I worked on, I was working on putting out a song a month. I had done like records, and I unlike Ted, I kind of stopped playing live maybe about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years.
Okay.
Just it was too difficult to do the things I wanted to do without putting a band together, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to do that. So I have a space at home. I record and I try to do a song a month. I kind of fell behind in June and July just because it didn't feel appropriate for some reason. There was the COVID, and then George Floyd happened, and it just didn't seem like that was something I wanted to do. So, but like I mentioned, I'm moving here next week, and once I get set up and running, I'll start putting out some music again. So,
You got a new studio in the new space?
yes, I'm very, very excited. So, I'm going to have Ted over as soon as it's socially acceptable, and we're going to make some more music. So,
I'll sit outside and do it.
okay.
He'll just use COVID as an excuse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you just bought yourself the outside seat for a long time.
Right.
I was gonna say, Ryan, Ted's gonna get you run out of your new neighborhood even before you bed.
I do that. I have that effect.
I don't need any help with that either. So,
Right. Oh.
I don't know. I'm just, thank you for doing this for so many different. Jessa is about as lovely. As I said, we had the opportunity. I remember going to see her. I think she had just started the band, and oh shoot, the Inside Mini Golf place in St. Paul had just opened.
Can Wonderland.
Yes. Yeah. Can Wonderland. I think I met her briefly there. Years ago, and then we had her on the show, and she just. I'm hoping that all of the lucky accidents, all of the being in the right place in the right time that you guys have talked about, I hope that speaks well for her being in the right place in the right time for all of the different treatments that she's going through. She's one tough mother.
Yeah, for sure. And then on top of it, you think about beyond having to deal with all that, it's just a financial burden that's insurmountable, So it's wonderful to see people come together and be willing to help out with that. you know, her GoFundMe. I don't know if it's easy to tell people what that URL is, but if you post this somewhere, we can post links. You know.
I will absolutely be including the links in the notes here. Yeah, because it's part of living in the U.S. It's criminal to have to make medical decisions based on economy, your personal economy.
Absolutely.
And anything we can do to help her just focus on getting better. And she's got, and I think we've already alluded, she's got 3 daughters.
Yeah. 3 young daughters, and
so good. Well, and I think more that it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. You brought a lot of people together to do good work. I think you've created some connections that will continue on, making Minnesota music richer and richer than it's been. You know, you kind of, even just between the 2 of you, I think we'll see some great things. So
hope so.
Yes. So thank you for being with us, and we will look forward to, well, we look forward to getting the sneak peeks. Sneak peeks that are also officially the sneak peeks that are coming out. And as you said, we've got Nick
Henches on Monday, and then there'll be another one the following week. Yeah, this thing comes out in a couple weeks. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Well, here's my last question for you guys. What are you gonna do once it's released? How are you gonna celebrate?
Drink. No, I don't know. Maybe we should have a watch party of Rocky. I think that would be Ryan. Rocky watch party, and we'll invite everybody. Yeah, we'll have to figure out licensing, but we'll figure it out.
You could do a Pink Floyd and Wizard of Oz. Put on Rocky and the album.
Oh, we could, or you could do Rocky and like the Sesame Street theme song. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Yeah.
So many things. All right, great.
Ideas, or my wheels are turning.
Yes. Yes. Perfect.
Some kind of celebration is in order.
Some kind of. Yeah. Well, let us know. We'll be there. Thank you for your good work, and thank you for joining us today to talk all about Quarantine Dream.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.